Hi everyone, welcome to part one of the Founders Roadmap by Squad. Squad is an AI co-pilot for product managers that saves them hours and hours every day and aligns your core KPIs and customer feedback to opportunities and solutions. We've rethought the entire product discovery workflow and really excited to share with you a little bit of insight into how we've landed on Squad and our journey so far. Today, we're going to be talking about product versioning to give you guys a little bit of background on ourselves and how we work. We're all based in different parts of the world. So some of us are in London. We have others in Portugal, Uruguay, even on occasion. Hamish likes to travel about. We also have some people up in Scotland and Wales. So the fact that everyone's in a little bit of a different time zone, some of us are also maintaining both a full-time job and Squad. So having versions and having incremental goals that move us forward to something that we can get in front of customers, one, like helps motivate everyone, but two, also is a nice way of structuring or thinking about the initial idea you might have for your product.
Basically, I think there's a lot that goes into the product even before you get to like a beta version. There's these mini milestones that we created. There's proof of concept with something we called the MV AHA, which is demonstrating our AHA moments. The journey towards funding, like it all adds up, these sort of incremental changes within the product. I know like agile methodology, you kind of work and change tech all the time, but giving us these like key milestones, these versions was really helpful. And also just defining like the success periods, right? Like we achieved that, felt really good, we got this done, then we kind of look to what we wanted to get done next and start building towards that. So yeah, product versioning seems mundane, but I think there's a lot under the hood here that we can cover.
Exactly. Very important topic, product versioning. So for version 0.1 of our proof of concept, for Squad, we came up with a couple of basic concepts. So you may have heard of something called the lean product canvas, but the main thing to think about when you're building your initial proof of concept is what is the core problem you're looking to solve? And how do you solve that problem in the quickest, dirtiest way possible? Now, I know that sounds a little counterintuitive, but you shouldn't really worry so much about how it looks. Designers may cringe at me, but I think it's more about building something that you feel is going to add a lot of value quickly. And then whether it's a no-code tool, whether you're using an existing UI kit, like whatever you can do to put something in front of a user and get some immediate feedback, even if it's this design is terrible or I don't understand it, that's a learning. And I think it's very important. It's one of the main goals of Squad is to save you time. And so what we wanted to test was, well, how do we leverage AI to write requirements faster? So the first version for us, or version 0.1, literally just did that.
Yeah, I think just showcasing value in this space really quickly is extremely important. Like there's AI products coming out daily. Everyone is doing everything all the time. And for us, just building something really quick, scrappily, getting it out there was key. Leveraging the UI kit, we use Minimal, which is built on Material UI, super easy, got out there really quickly, and it's pretty polished. Like it does a pretty good job. And that's coming from a designer who absolutely hates UI kits. So definitely can validate for using that and building something and shipping something quickly. There's a lot of work that goes into building front-end React components otherwise.
As Hamish rightly pointed out, using a UI kit was much faster, not worrying about the quality of the code. You can fix it later once you have customers actually using it. Just getting something very like interactivity, I think is important because it feels more real to people. But then also there's this nice, I guess, psychological effect that happens when you give something a little bit rough to someone. They feel okay about ripping into it a little bit as well. So if something's too polished and maybe you're talking with a close friend or a colleague about feedback on the app and they feel you've put a lot of effort into it, they're probably more inclined to, or they will definitely be more inclined to give you more positive affirmation instead of just telling you their actual real views on it. So focus on testing the problem quickly, focus on using off-the-shelf tools and see what people say. So for us, we put this in front of a few product managers that we had. They started using it every day. We onboarded a QA team because they were very interested in the test cases themselves. And that was enough validation for us to want to then move on to the next phase, which we're calling POC Plus. Hamish, do you want to talk a little bit about this? Because this is where you came in and saved the day.
I think
I love it.
I think I've been watching too many streaming platforms. Decided to put the plus in there, but the yeah. So yeah, I guess this is when I started getting involved in the UI. The first thing we looked at was a homepage or a dashboard that helps someone sign up, as well as like built some level of commitment from our early adopters and our users during this proof of concept phase. I think that's really important. Let someone know that this is a proof of concept. Build a way to hold on to them for the future releases, and just kind of showcase like the rough idea, like what are we really trying to do here. We like utilize the menu to kind of show segments within the navigation that were coming up rather than that we had built. It kind of gives you a nice little heads up of what's coming. For us, we are building a requirements, an artifact, and we're iterating on that artifact. So the first thing for us to do was to create an input, build context, add some options here, and then allow the user to iterate on one particular thing versus like going back and forth with an AI, getting different results every time. So that was the first change we made to the requirements. But I think, yeah, helped it feel a little bit more nuanced to this use case versus a chat GPT wrapper or other AI products out there.
And then moving on to where things started getting a lot more serious in terms of the product. Hamish, do you want to talk through some of this?
Yeah, grab. This was, I think, for our first pitch. We were trying to demonstrate what like a future state of the product looked like while we pulled up a demo of what we had built today. And what we wanted to convey here was a top-down view. So giving product leaders, product managers, or busy executives a high-level overview of like their goals and their strategy, and then showcasing the AI underneath that with the next best action and the surface opportunities that we were delivering.
We literally threw this together just to prove the art of the possible and start getting feedback from customers on, hey, if we started showing you your KPIs and then showing feedback that aligned to them, would that be something that you're interested in? That was the problem we were trying to solve. We were constantly always asking yourself when you're building something, start with like a how might we statement. So how might we present insights to customers? How might we automate requirements? How might we automate solutions? And then from there, that sort of helps get you thinking, or that helps get you thinking about what that version may be. The feedback we were getting is they were struggling to understand the connection between the insights and this requirements thing, and it felt all a little bit kind of bolted on, but there wasn't a real story to it. And that's where we realized, well, what we want to do is we want to show the whole workflow. So in our minds, we always knew we wanted to rethink product discovery. We knew in our minds, and we talked about it, what that could look like. We just hadn't committed the time to build this out. And that's what MVAha was. And so as all good, fully remote people should do, just for context, all of us work all over the world. We've known each other from previous type places that we worked together or friends of friends. We didn't all have a physical location that was close enough, so we went to Amsterdam because that's what you should do. And so we hired an Airbnb, we got together and we started asking ourselves, okay, how do we make people go aha? How do we really communicate what we mean by this product discovery workflow?
One thing that was interesting, we were sort of defining priorities as well as we were thinking through this. Like, okay, where is the aha moments within this flow? What actually lands value for people using it, and what's really easy to showcase to VCs, as well as like technical effort involved in building certain pieces out. I think where we landed was like you could go really deep on any of these, and what we wanted to do was prioritize getting the full thing done. So you can see this red arrow. That was basically us saying we want to prioritize closing the loop. We want to integrate analytics, show how that's leveraging back into the discovery, and then close the loop of product development so people can see how this thing could, essentially build itself in the future. It really is like iterating. And developing forward versus just providing a solution and then forgetting about it. So that was our aha moment. I felt like we really rallied around that as a team, and definitely made that a commitment coming out of that offsite. We pulled this together in like a week after the offsite. I think we spent a bit of time really trying to think through how can we show top-down perspective through like the differing hierarchy someone's interested in. Really aligning and connecting the dots and showing that full circle or the full flow straight off the bat, and giving a user an aha moment. Another thing to call out is that even though we focused on that initial aha moment, the strategy canvas is what we're calling it. You can get away with just pulling together really minimal makeshift like pages, detail pages within the app. On top of that, focus on the aha moment or the things that make the most sense, and then like just do the bare minimums on these other areas. So there's kind of like versions within versions. You've got the versions of your pages, your sort of MVP proof of concept pages, and then the ones that are more structured and detailed. And you can use those as you're going through your, funding round or whatever to sort of showcase the value and the purpose of what you're building.
And then we move on to version 0.4, which we're calling Bridge to Bags. So we're a B2B SaaS company. What you've seen in the last few weeks of our iterations is our journey from automating requirements right through to then associating analytics with customer feedback and making data-driven decisions. So Bridge to Bags is all about and building out the final bits of that end-to-end journey. So getting everything that wasn't necessarily working, connecting it all together and allowing an enterprise business to start using Squad. And so what we began mapping out here was the registration flow. So obviously customers need to be able to register an account. This is all the stuff that doesn't add value to your product. So you should never think about building your own organization or building your own sign up flow by yourself. We use Propel Auth. We use an off-the-shelf B2B auth provider because, again, your auth experience is not going to make or break your product. It's going to be the actual product itself. So we're keeping things simple, not reinventing the wheel, and using turnkey off-the-shelf solutions for auth. And then we're also connecting up our first analytics platforms end to end. So we prioritized Google Analytics based on what our initial customers have requested. And then we've also teased the idea of the future analytics. And the idea of teasing them is showing that, these are things that they could request. And then as a customer asks for it, when we do the demos and we onboard them, then we'll build support for that.
So just to recap, we had like our proof of concept, which is all about showcasing the concept, getting is this even something that people are interested in? It was. Then we went to like our proof of concept plus, which is really refining and building some stickiness to the app, making sure that we were hooking people in. So we had some sort of prolonged relationship with our early adopters. Then we had our MV AHA, which was all about showcasing the AHA moment. How could we show the actual value and what we're building, the story behind it in a demoable format so we could pitch to VCs or speak with early users and get some initial feedback. And lastly, which is our Bridge to Bags, which is all about actually making the thing work. Can someone self-onboard? Can they use it? Will they pay for it? And that's where we landed and we're building out today.
Nicely done, mate. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. I think just to summarize very quickly, when you're building out your first prototypes for your initial idea, keep it rough, keep it dirty. Don't worry about polish. Focus on solving your problem. Keep focused. Make it fun. Prioritize goals and milestones. And if you have any questions or anything as well that we didn't cover in this very short video, drop a comment, let us know. Otherwise, see you for part 2. What are we going into in part 2, Hamish?
Don't know. You'll have to find out in part 2.
Stay tuned for part 2. You'll see you again soon. Thanks, guys. You have a good day. See you later. Bye.